Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nest Talk. This week is going to look a little bit different. We are celebrating Division III week all across Division III, and so this week is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have a ton of podcasts going on, a ton of social media content going out, so be on the lookout for everything. But today I'm really excited to get into Division III with our first guest. So we are joined today by Emory senior swimmer Liyang.
How's it going, guys?
So I want to jump right in to your recruitment. How'd you choose Emory? What kind of drew you to a Division III program?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my recruiting process was pretty much similar to how most people's were. You go on SwimCloud, you see the schools that are roughly in your range and, that you feel like you'd be serviceable in. I guess a couple things I was looking for was a healthy swim team in terms of culture, and to me, like a coach can really, a good coach can be the good start of that. I first reached out to Coach John, I think junior year of high school, and I was pretty immediately impressed by him. I think he's a very, very warm, but also a very professional guy, and he runs like a really organized process, and that's something you can tell just the recruiting, like for sure. The next thing that I really started to notice about Emory was that there were a lot of seniors, and that is not the case with every swim team. That is not the case. On a lot of other teams I was looking at, the senior class had shrunken down from like 8 or so swimmers to like 3 to 5, and usually that's not a good sign. That just shows that like they for some reason didn't want to continue more. Whereas the senior class every year at Emory was always crowded and full, and that to me that was a really good sign from Emory, and that still is the case. Yeah.
Now I'm very bad at going back in math and years and all of that, but when COVID happened, were you still in high school?
Yes. So yeah.
How did that kind of affect that whole process?
It changed everything. Well, for starters, in terms of recruiting, normally you think of trying to get your times to a presentable level your junior year, but I didn't really have my junior year / senior year. And the other thing that was really impacted was I never actually got to visit any campuses. So Emory was a completely blind pit. So in my head, the amount of confidence I had to have that Emory was the right place to make that decision before coming here was quite high. And a lot of that confidence, again, came just from phone calls with John and just vibe checks, like I just knew.
Is it safe to say you were happy with your decision?
Oh yes, I'm very glad. Yeah.
So later in this, we will definitely get into this past NCAA championship season, but I want to know just throughout all of your time here, what's been kind of some of the highlights for you?
Yeah, I think meeting my friends. And this is weird to say, but I almost wish I got to meet them again for the first time. Like, that was such a transformative experience. Like, just being able to endure hardships with them. Like, I think in college you really get to know people deeply because you see parts of them that you might not see in like high school because your friends, they go home and they sleep in their own rooms. But here, like, we really like get to watch each other fail, watch each other like win and celebrate all that. So just wasting time with my friends has been like the highlights, honestly. That's the happiest I've ever been. Yeah.
So I think I've asked every student athlete that has joined the podcast, but you guys go through one of the most intense schedules that I've probably ever seen anybody go through between practice and competing and school. I mean, you guys are out here getting these like amazing very high degrees. And so how do you kind of juggle that schedule? And, when you first started, was it almost like a turnoff of Emory, or did it want to just make you push harder?
Yeah, so to be honest, it was a struggle at first, for sure. It really is a lot of hours and dedication. And when you ask someone who's on a podcast, you usually ask them this question after they've had some success, right? But the hard part is when you're doing all this work and hours and things aren't going well, which everyone has experienced on this team. It's a universal swimmer experience to fail and fail a lot. And in your head, it can be tough to continue to invest all those hours. But, I would do this no matter what. like even if I never succeeded like in my college career, like the fun part for me is you have a limited amount of things in life to care about, and to be able to really just invest a lot of your energy and soul into something that you are passionate about is it's a blessing. It's nice to have something to care about and try, but yes, it is hard. We are students too, and balancing that is something you have to learn. Yeah.
Well, I want to get into that a little bit more. You've been open about some mental health struggles in the past. So how do you kind of go through those challenges as a Division III athlete? You know, I'm sure, like you said, it is hard being, a student athlete. So how do you kind of push through those challenges?
Yeah, so I think mental health is one of those things that is recognized but not necessarily addressed. And it's not to critique like any system. Like, I mean, how do you? It's not like you can miraculously switch it off. The truth is, in our current day and age, to get something that you really want, you have to endure stress. Like that's the bottom line. And the question is, how do we manage our mental health while understanding that our goals will take work? And for me, like the big part about mental health is learning that everything is connected in your life. For a long time when I was in my early years at Emory, like I probably wasn't taking care of my sleep or nutrition or all the other stuff as well. And that everything feels like a minutia and like not important, but those things really do add up. Getting 7 to 8 hours of rest a night does actually improve your mental health, believe it or not. But also just like just growing into someone you're more comfortable with. I think one of the hardest things about coming to college is, it's scary. You want to impress, right? You want to be someone that you've dreamed of being, but maybe you're not there yet. And living in like the uncertainty or insecurity is hard. Part of my journey has been accepting like who I am and just choosing to live as that person. It's a lot easier to live as yourself than someone else, and that's definitely helped. Yeah.
Well, on a more positive note, let's get into this past NCAA championship season. Watching you on the podium and just you looked so happy, like I made it here, and all this hard work has paid off. So describe that feeling of being up there and kind of the emotions that you were feeling.
Yeah, it was the best moment in my life. It really was. I'm usually pretty stoic, but I genuinely, it's weird. I always, not to sound like arrogant, but I always knew I could win. The question was, would I, right? And many factors come into winning, not just how you do, but it depends on how your competitors do, inevitably. I think the road for me was so, it's funny to watch that moment, but no one films me like losing and adding time or suffering like terrible like defeats in practice and meets, right? So that experience isn't just me winning, it's also the process of me having gone through so many losses. I think for me, the funny part about how I got to my time is I think it's common thought to like, okay, like you're gonna fix all your weaknesses and get better. I don't know if I necessarily got better at any of my weaknesses. I kind of just chose my strengths and got so insurmountably good at them that like there was just nothing that anyone could have done. In terms of how I felt on the podium, like I just like my body was just taking over. I was just yelling. I think funny story, but like after I got up, I was screaming and like sorry, but I was cursing too. And one of the officials was like, "Hey, like just congrats, but like you gotta tone it down a little bit." But I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry." Yeah, like I just couldn't help it. It was like primal, like yeah.
So during your the post-race interview, even just watching from home, we could kind of feel the emotion from you and the excitement. And, you talked a lot about, the people that were surrounding you and helped you get there. So what did those people mean to you, especially, your friends and your teammates who have gone through a similar Division III experience?
Yeah, I mean, they're everything to me, and they've believed in me even like maybe delusionally sometimes. But, I needed that because sometimes I didn't believe in myself necessarily the whole way. And like I mean, as soon as I got on this team, I was taken care of by the upperclassmen, and they kept me here. They kept me okay enough to just keep working hard. And to my friends, especially, like I idolize their passion a lot. Last 4 years, I looked up to them. I wanted to be like them, and I wouldn't have been close to that position without them. And I don't know, they mean everything to me. So if you guys are watching.
So let's get in now to post-grad plans. You've done your final season of swim. We're now in the spring. Graduation is right around the corner. What's your plans?
Yeah, chill for a bit, at least the next month or so. Yeah, it's weird being a second semester senior. It feels exactly like how I was in high school as a second semester senior. You've just been through so much exhaustion that like you finally get to. For postgrad plans, I've currently been accepted as a PhD student to study biology, so that'll be fun. Yeah. So moving on to the academic world after this, where everything I do is determined by my brain, not my body. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. That will be amazing. We wish you all the luck. So let's end. If there's any message that you could give to a younger athlete who might be looking at a Division III program, might just be looking to swim in college in general, what message would you give to them?
Yeah. So what I think is so nice about D3 is everyone here is doing it because they want to. Once you're on the team, there is no financial benefit, to being on the team. It's not like you get a big advantage over non-athletes in terms of schoolwork either. What it really is you care about the sport. And what I'm really hoping for our incoming recruits and in the future of our team is to maintain this culture of passion. I think in D3, like, that the team that wins is really the team that wants it the most. I think the speed of the recruits that come into each team are actually pretty comparable across all the schools. So, and I don't know, my advice would be don't be afraid to care about something. I think what holds people back is they're afraid to set a goal and even publicly look like they care. Because if you care about something, that opens the risk that you might fail. And if you care about something and you fail at it, it hurts. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck. But if you don't care at all, you're also never gonna get that. And that's the cost benefit. So if you do care about swimming, don't let anyone insinuate that it's not worthwhile to care about it. Care about it. Enjoy it, love it, and it's swimming, so I can't guarantee that one thing will happen or something won't happen, but I think there's something just inherently good about caring about something.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was such a great conversation, such a great way to start Division III week. Be on the lookout all this week. We have so much content coming out on Emory Athletics, so be on the lookout for that. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.